So hello again, Vinyl Community. And this time I'm going to do a response to, I think, Richard McCook's thread about 2 consecutive albums by 12 different artists. So here goes. So let's start off with one of New York's finest. In fact, I was watching a YouTube video by Clem Burke, the drummer. And that was on this morning, I was watching that. So he was showing some items from his bag, including soundtrack albums of Blow Up and Nancy Sinatra and Lee Hazelwood. So this is, an album that introduces us to Blondie. I think it had the hit single Denis, or rather than Dennis, and it's got Contact in Red Square. So this is the first of 2 by Blondie. So Plastic Letters is the earlier album, and then we went on to the worldwide hit, fantastic album. It's almost like a greatest hits. So this has got Hanging on the Telephone, One Way or Another, Pretty Baby, and we've also got 11:59, Sunday Girl, Heart of Glass. Yeah, it's just a fabulous album. Jimmy Destri on electronic keyboards, Frank Infante on guitar, Christine on guitar, 12-string and ebow, Nigel Harrison on bass, Clem Burke, as we said, on Premier drums, and the wonderful Debbie Harry on vocals. What a fantastic group they were. Blondie, Parallel Lines. And then iconic sleeve, we have Alice Cooper's School's Out. And this is the album that, again, broke Alice Cooper across the world. Big hits in the UK. School's Out is always an anthem, I think more for teachers than pupils, but yeah. And it's got the album sleeve like a desk, and I don't have the paper panties sleeve for the album, for the vinyl, but follow up was $1 Billion Babies, and this one has Elected and Hello Hooray, as well as $1 Billion Babies. And this copy opens like a wallet, a sort of snakeskin wallet, and has got the $1 billion note. So that's always nice to have. $1 billion US, and Alice and the rest of the band on the center where you normally have the presidents. So need to put that back safely. Right. A change of genre and a change of iconic artist. And this is Frank Sinatra, and 2 complete albums. So we've got Songs for Young Lovers on one side of the vinyl and Swing Easy on the other side. Got this in a charity shop called Smile in Aberdeen. So we have side 1 is Swing Easy, and read the tracks from that. It's got Just One of Those Things, I'm going to sit right down and write myself a letter. And you've also got Get Happy, the Kohler and Arlen composition. And Jeepers Creepers is on here. And on Songs for Young Lovers, you've got My Funny Valentine, The Girl Next Door, A Foggy Day in Old, well, A Foggy Day is the title by George and Ira Gershwin, and that speaks about him being in London and having a look around the British Museum. And you've got I Get a Kick Out of You, and They Can't Take That Away From Me. So yeah, unusual. This one is an album on each side of the vinyl. The arrangements are by the famous Nelson Riddle. And then one of my favorite bands from the glam rock era, can't believe I'm going from Sinatra to Mott the Hoople. And this has got the really nice cutaway silhouette and various sort of collage. And it's got the singles all the way from Memphis and Honolulu Boogie, two of my favorite tracks by Mott. And it's also got Violence, which has got violins, so fiddle music, as well as Driving Sister rock and roll with the noise of the car engine starting up. And then the Ballad of Mott the Hoople and I Am a Cadillac, together with El Camino Doloroso. And this was recorded in London at Air London Studios and yeah, the wonderful Abbey Road, EMI's recording studios. And it was recorded in February 73 to April 73. And yeah, Andy Mackay plays of Roxy Music, plays some sax on this. And yeah, Island, no, I was going to say, All Songs is Island Music, but it's on the CBS record label. And then that was followed by, equally wonderful, The Hoople. So we had Mott the Hoople, Mott, and then Mott the Hoople, The Hoople. And this has got the classic single, The Golden Age of Rock and Roll, and has also got, I think it, topped and tailed. Side one, track one is The Golden Age of Rock and Roll. And the last track of side two is Roll Away the Stone. But it's also got Crash Street Kids and Born Late 58. And we've got, Ian Hunter on vocals and guitar, and Ariel Bender, what a great name for the lead guitarist and vocalist. So Ariel Bender's on this, and we've got Morgan Fisher on keyboards and Dale Griffin on drums and Overend Watts on bass. Mott the Hoople, sort of one of my favorites from the glam rock era. Next, I've got the wonderful female vocalist, Melanie, and Please Love Me. And this is 1973 Buddha Records. And this has got the title track, Please Love Me. It's also got Pebbles in the Stand, not Pebbles in the Stand, but Pebbles in the Sand, and God's Only Daughter. So yeah, a really nice selection of the sort of folksy singer. And then that was followed up by Madrugada. And I think this was mainly 1974, but there was, I think, at least one track from 73, and that was Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? And I'm not sure if that's a Carole King version or not, but side one of this is very strong. So you've got Love to Lose Again, Lover's Cross, Pretty Boy Floyd, the outlaw song, Pretty Boy Floyd, the outlaw. And yeah, stories like maybe Bob Dylan would have about the Wild West and some of the heroes and villains of the Wild West era and American folklore. But the final track on side one is a wonderful rendition of the Jagger and Richards' Wild Horses. So I think it's a notch above the Susan Boyle version. I think it's probably on a par to the Stones, but yeah, Melanie's got a wonderful voice and just a sweet, poetic sound to this. And she's got a good band in here as well. Next, speaking about a good band, and speaking about a band made up of some great blues legends, Tom McGuinness and Huey Flint from McGuinness Flint, together with Dave Kelly, Paul Jones, and Gary Fletcher. So this is their debut album. Paul Jones had been around for a good long time. He was the lead singer in Manfred Mann. I think he did some solo records, did a few solo singles. I'm not sure if they were top 20 hits, but I think his most successful period was with Manfred Mann. He was at one stage, I think, considered to be a vocalist for the Rolling Stones. I think Brian Jones was encouraging him to join the Stones. I'm not sure if that was before Mick was on the go or not, but yeah. And he's a great harmonica or blues harp player. There's a song he does called Working or Workman, something like that. And he plays and sings harmonica, and his breathing control is par excellence. So that's, I think it's called Work Song, maybe. It's maybe a song that the cotton pickers would sing in the fields. But this has got Flatfoot Sam bought an automobile, no money down. It was a real good deal. He didn't want to work, just right around town. Finance company put his feet on the ground. Old Flatfoot Sam, he's always in a jam. So you can see why I'm not a vocalist in a blues band, but I love this record. It's also got Boom Boom Out Goes the Lights. I think that was done by Dawn and Dewey. I think I've got it on a compilation called This Is How It All Began, Volume 2. And we've also got Come On In and Diddy Wah Diddy. So, as well as Talk to Me Baby. And there's a story on the rear about a phone call that Tom McGuinness received in February 79. And it was, I think, Paul Jones suggesting that they form a blues band. And it was followed up by the blues band Ready. And this has got 29 Ways and Hallelujah, I Love Her So, as well as Lonely Avenue, which is another Ray Charles classic. And yeah, both sides of this are great sort of blues, rhythm and blues. So that was one from 1980. And then something with a bit of modern twist on reggae. We have the wonderful threesome, The Police, with Sting, Stuart Copeland and Andy Summers on guitar. And this has got So Lonely, it's got Peanuts, Can't Stand Losing You, and Hole in My Life, as well as the single from this, which was Roxanne, You Don't Have to Put on the Red Light. So that was A&M Records from 78, and was followed by the wonderful Regatta de Blanc. So another French title for the Police. And this has got Message in a Bottle on it, Walking on the Moon, The Bed's Too Big Without You. Yeah, great, very successful band. And then, of course, not long after this, there was another 2 or 3 Police albums, and then Sting went solo. But the back catalogue of the Police, yeah, all the 33s, all the LPs are great. Then another of my favourite bands from stateside, and Steely Dan, The Royal Scam. So this has got Kid Charlemagne and The Fez, as well as Haitian Divorce and the title track of The Royal Scam. So Walter Becker and Donald Fagen doing what they do best. Great, band behind them as well. Wonderful. So the chap who's Down and Out, A Hole in His Shoe, well, that's a Traffic single, but on the reverse you can see the image is a zoom in on the shoe of the poor chap on the bench. And then that was followed by Asia, and that is a truly wonderful album. There's not a bad track on here. Black Cow, Asia, Deacon Blues, which was the inspiration for a Scottish group called Deacon Blue. And we've got Peg, Home at Last, I Got the News, and the Sublime Josie. Now, the next band I'm going to showcase are a band that I saw supporting The Who on their Face Dances tour. And I saw the Who and this group, 9 Below Zero, at the Glasgow Apollo. A great evening. And we have Mark the Harp Feltman came on stage with a briefcase full of the blues, different harmonicas in different keys. So, and he's accompanied by Styx Burke on drums, Dennis the Menace Greaves on lead vocal and guitar, and Peter Clark on bass. So if you're a fan of the Rolling Stones' very early stuff, and Dr. Feelgood, the pub rock masters, with Milk and Alcohol and lots of other tracks that I can't remember the name of as we speak. But yeah, if you like that sort of R&B blues type guitar rock bands, beat combos, then 9 Below Zero, which is named after a Muddy Waters track as well. They're very worth while searching on your favorite streaming service, and then, yeah, invest in some vinyl. So this album's called Don't Point Your Finger. I think their first album released was actually Alive at the Marquee. So it's unusual for a band to have their first issue of an LP as a live album, but Live at the Marquee is really good. This has got things like One Way Street, Ain't Coming Back, I Won't Lie, Treat Her Right. I think that's been covered several times by different bands. Rockin' Robin, who the Jackson 5 did a single on, but 9 Below Zero do a great version of that. And we've also got Treat Her Right and Sugar Mama. So that's the second album, but the first in these consecutive albums. And then 9 Below Zero's Third Degree. And yeah, same lineup. And here we've got 11 plus 11. So they like their numbers. So we've got 9 Below Zero, Third, and 11 plus 11. And we've got East Street, E17, as well as True Love is a Crime and Wipe Away Your Kiss. So I think a lot of these are original compositions, but yeah, A&M and 9 Below Zero. So next up, we have the wonderful Chrissie Hynde and the Pretenders. So Chrissie on guitars and vocals, Pete Farndon on bass and vocals, James Honeyman Scott, guitars, keyboards, and vocals, and Martin Chambers on drums and vocals. So this has got, it says, all tracks were produced by Chris Thomas, except Stop Your Sobbing, which was produced by the wonderful Nick Lowe. And of course, Stop Your Sobbing is a Ray Davies composition, but this has got Precious and Tattooed Love Boys, Kid, and Brass in Pocket, which was the single that came from this. And a lot of it was recorded in 1979, but I think Brass in Pocket was one of the first number ones in 1980. So I always view this as music from a new decade and a new era. And I was quite excited when this came up. And then we have Pretenders 2, yeah, a very novel name for the follow-up record, but there we are. And it's got the Adulteress, Bad Boys Get Spanked, and Talk of the Town, and Louis. So yeah, another great album, sort of punk, new wave, yeah, new era, new decade. And I think this was from 1981. Next up, I've often mentioned John Peel, the Radio 1 late night DJ, and how influential he was. And one of his favorite bands was the Undertones. I think there are there's an alternate cover to this, but this is an original pressing. And yeah, on this we've got We've got Family Entertainment, Male Model, Teenage Kicks, which I think, I'm not sure which birthday it was, but the Undertones gave John Peel the original scribbled lyrics to Teenage Kicks. And I think there's some folklore about the words to Teenage Kicks are engraved on John Peel's headstone, but I'm not sure if that's true or an urban myth. But it's also got Here Comes the Summer and Jimmy Jimmy, and True Confessions is on here as well. So let's just check this. This is on the Sire record label, and the sleeve has got a map. There's the map gone of Ireland with an arrow pointing to Londonderry, and yeah, Fergal Sharkey on vocals, and we've got John O'Neill and Bill Docherty and Damien O'Neill. The O'Neill brothers are great songwriters, and we've got Casbah Rock on this, and it's from 1979. So, well, what's that, 8 on side 1, 8 tracks, and 8 tracks on side 2. So as an Aberdonian, yeah, good value for money, great punk. They're not really true punk in a sort of nasty way, but they wrote some great songs. And then the follow-up to that is Hypnotized. So this has got more songs about chocolate and girls, which I think is a cover actually. And these are like Polaroid photos of the band, and yeah, nice inner sleeve. So songs about chocolate and girls, that's credited to Damien O'Neill. And we've also got Under the Boardwalk on here, and Hypnotized, of course. And the label's got the lobster logo on it as well. And Wednesday Week and Tearproof, and Girls That Don't Talk is also on here. So wrong spy about them doing a cover version. There you go. Next up, one of the iconic Motown artists, and it is Talking Book by Stevie Wonder. And this has got You Are the Sunshine of My Life, and also Superstition. Yeah, Superstition is a fantastic single, but I think there's not a bad track on this album. Really good, really enjoyable. I Believe When I Fall in Love, It Will Be Forever. And Tuesday Heartbreak, You've Got It Bad Girl. Yeah. So the lyrics are printed on the reverse, and a nice sunset on the gatefold. Ray Parker Jr. plays guitar on Maybe Your Baby. And would you believe it, Looking for Another Pure Love has the wonderful Jeff Beck playing guitar on that. Next, for the consecutive albums by Stevie Wonder, it is Inner Visions, and this has got Higher Ground on it, Living for the City, Too High, Visions, He's Mr. Know-It-All, another 5-star album. I think Stevie Wonder's albums, you know, it's 5-star from Talking Book right through to Songs in the Key of Life. You can't beat little Stevie Wonder when he grew up a bit. So fantastic. In fact, his early stuff's really good as well. Finally, we come to a guitar hero of mine, Pete Townsend. So I also have Pete's first solo album, Who Came First, but this is really nice. Rough Boys, the album's called Empty Glass. The title track, Empty Glass, is on this. All songs are written by Pete, as you would expect. Jules and Jim is on this, and Let My Love Open the Door, which is a track that I've heard covered by a couple of people, and he followed that up in '82 with All the Best Cowboys Have Chinese Eyes, and yeah, it's a gatefold. Interesting. I think it looks more like Gary Newman there than Pete Townsend, but never mind. And twin neck guitar on the photograph on the back. And this has got North Country Girl, Exquisitely Bored, Uniforms, which is a great track, and Stardom in Acton. Acton, one of the London boroughs, I believe. There you have my response to Richard McCook's 2 consecutive albums by 12 artists. And I'll leave in my description a link to Richard McCook's original video. But I hope you've enjoyed this delve into my record collection. I did have consecutive albums by The Who, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, and the White Stripes, Jack White. So I look forward to seeing you again in the not too distant future. So take care. Bye.